I'm in Mombasa, eastern Kenya's humid and bustling port city, where Africa meets the trade influences of Asia, the Middle East, and other neighbours across the Indian Ocean. But scratch beneath the surface of the palm-fringed beaches of this popular tourist destination, and you quickly see that there is trouble in paradise. That's because Mombasa is at the heart of one of the world's lesser-known secessionist movements. Scrawled on many colonial-era buildings is the phrase Pwani si Kenya, a Swahili expression meaning the coast is not Kenya. I asked some of the townsfolk how they felt about being part of East Africa's economic powerhouse.
We want our independence here in coast, to be free and to get a job because we can't get a job.
I personally want this region to be independent, financial reasons.
Why should somebody come from all over another place, come and look for a job here, while we people here don't have jobs?
A survey of coastal denizens conducted by researcher Paul Goldsmith recently found that there is near universal support for regional autonomy. Spearheading the secessionist agenda is the Mombasa Republican Council, the MRC. It says that an independent coastal nation should have its own flag, president and currency. The group's Secretary-General, Randu Nzai Ruwa, says his fellow Coastarians have been ripped off by Kenya's central government for decades.
The coast region is the region which gives much money to the Kenyan government, but the poorest person comes from the coast. He has been marginalized with his land, employment, education, agriculture, and every sector. When you come to the coast region, it is the worst region which is crying.
Walk into the branch of any national bank or supermarket chain in Mombasa, say the locals, and you will find that all the jobs have gone to migrants from up country. Since Kenya won independence from Britain in the 1960s, Nairobi has plundered the coast for resources and returned little in the way of schools and hospitals, the MRC says. And according to Ruwa, sending coastal politicians to the national parliament hasn't helped.
When we go as politicians to fight for the coast people, we won't succeed. Because the politicians, when they go there, they are given money by the leaders from the upcountry. They are coming to sell our lands here. They are even selling our job opportunities.
The MRC says it has documents to back up its claims. While Kenya was a British colony, the coast was a separate entity governed by an Arabian sultan based in Zanzibar. In 1963, Kenya's founding president, Jomo Kenyatta, signed a deal with his Zanzibar counterpart for a 50-year lease over the coast. That is due to expire in June next year. MRC members point to the secessions of South Sudan, Eritrea and Somalia's self-governing regions of Somaliland and Puntland as examples. But Ruwa insists that Mombasa's independence will not be won by taking up arms.
Picking up guns is not our intention. That's why we are urging the international community to intervene in this matter. Because when it is left to the hands of the Kenyan government only, there will be very much bloodshed.
But while the MRC preaches non-violence, there is still plenty to be worried about. Last month, Mombasa erupted into several days of deadly rioting after the assassination of a controversial Muslim cleric. While the violence was linked more to Islamism than secessionism, many analysts say that both are underpinned by legitimate coastal grievances. Mwanaisha Hamisi works for the Kenya Red Cross in Mombasa. She says that the violence comes down to a basic lack of opportunity.
Drugs have been coming into the region, so quite a number of youth have been engaging into drug-related activities. Education is not well structured within here. You'll find most of the youth are just idle. Yeah, they don't have jobs, they are poor. Yeah, so whenever they get an opportunity, yeah, you'll find masses of people who've got similar characteristics, similar problems, so it's easy for them to be mobilized and kind of do whatever that they think is right or which is going to bring change.
The central government refutes MRC independence claims and refuses to negotiate. Until June, the group was banned and its members are regularly arrested by police. Nairobi is loath to lose swathes of territory, an estimated 5 million people, a lucrative port, tourist resorts, and oil and gas reserves. And that's not to mention how a coastal split would leave Kenya landlocked. Aly Khan Satchu, an economist who was born and raised in Mombasa, says secession is bad news for Kenya.
It's completely implausible. In fact, as an economist, I would say the advantage goes entirely to the coastal region because of the fact that, the port serves this entire East African community. You've got an oil refinery down there, which is valuable. You've got a hotel trade, which is valuable. So I think in terms of the centre can't afford to lose the coast. I mean, the whole country becomes essentially shorn of a key asset. So I think the central government loses, and that's why I think the central government's got to deal with the situation in a 21st century manner and empower these people to feel that it's worth participating in the central government. And that sense of alienation, to me, seems to be only going in one direction. People are getting more alienated, not less.
Kenya is undergoing major political reforms, including a new constitution from 2010 that many say could offer Coastarians more autonomy. But the MRC says that talks with Nairobi fall upon deaf ears. The group is calling for a boycott of the national presidential elections in March next year. And Kenya, with its deep ethnic divisions, has a bloody history when it comes to elections. More than 1,000 people were killed during the intertribal violence that followed the disputed ballot of December 2007. Now, advocacy groups warn that a secessionist coast could become an epicenter of violence during next year's polling. Amin Kimathi is chairman of the Muslim Human Rights Forum. He says that the government must act quickly to avert bloodshed.
I'm concerned, very, very, very frightened indeed, that the coast region could be the next epicenter of violence in the forthcoming elections. These elections, I would see that the coast might offer the biggest battleground, unfortunately. And it's a tragedy building up, unfolding, which we have, those who've been studying and observing the coastal situation over the years have always pointed out that there is a potential flashpoint here. And we've ignored it over the years. We've not really addressed this issue.
So with crucial elections looming, all eyes are on the coastal strip, waiting to see whether the secessionists stick to their pledge of a peaceful independence movement. For Monocle in Mombasa, I'm James Reinl.